We got Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst in the studio. He fired up the dune buggy and got over here.
I did, man. I pulled it out my driveway.
Okay, you've got an awesome program that I want to talk about because this should be explored, celebrated, and continued. But we got to start with that. Okay, can we start with the ATV?
So nobody tells the real story. That was a hit piece, right? Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting 2 wastewater treatment surplus ATVs because I have a 5-acre community center. I have 60-year-old employees. We give away dog food to the community. We give away big 40-pound boxes. They were struggling, even cleaning the whole site up. Mm-hmm. They stole them. And so when the advocate called me that day, I said, before you ask why I purchased one, go pull the police reports and see the videos where they stole the last 2. Right. So I did everything I was supposed to do. Went to G and Gonzalez, went to Friendly, went to multiple ones, asked for the lowest bid. The lowest bid was G and Gonzalez.
Okay.
They couldn't get it in, so I went to the second bid. But the thing about it is we use it for community cleanups. Right. We use it to work around the community center. Use it for community events. And they said, well, why was it parked in your driveway? Nobody asked that question either, because I had a community event across the street from my house.
See, I was under the assumption it was parked in your driveway because the previous one got stolen, so you wanted to keep your eyes on it.
No, that's not even the reason. I actually got a storage to put it in.
Okay.
But DPW didn't have enough room in the trailers at 10 o'clock at night to carry it. Uh-huh. And they said, don't leave it out here, Darryl, because if you leave it out here, somebody's going to take it. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, it was an Easter event. They said, we'll take it home. I put it in my driveway. It stayed there till the next event, which is about a month later.
Yeah.
So that's the whole story to it. But the bottom line is being used for community cleanups.
Okay.
It's being used for community events, and it's being used to manage the 5-acre community center. Now, I did ask DPW, could I use one of theirs? They told me no. I waited one day till about 3 o'clock. They're supposed to drop it off. Never dropped it off. So I wasn't able to fulfill my community-based obligation. So at that point, due to my salary savings, so everybody listening, mm-hmm. my salary savings, because I don't have a legislative aid, I was able to take some of that money and put it towards investing in ATV. So no, it was actually being very fiscally responsible and being used for what it was intended for. And it's not illegal to buy it, nor is it illegal to have it in my driveway. But I had it in my driveway to make sure that the third one was not stolen.
Right. Well, but because you didn't want to leave it on site.
Correct.
Right.
It would have been on a 5-acre field in the middle of nowhere by itself. And people were worried about it getting hot wire like the last one did. That are actually on camera getting hot wire, by the way. That's
incredible stuff. Did we ever find the other ones?
We found one, but he had jacked it up so bad it was not useful. And we kind of built a relationship. We have a homeless feeding program. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the guys that came over there was eating with us every day. He kind of would look around while he was there, and he came back and stole it. And my community center director, just as a part of what we do, had built such a great relationship. She went down there and said, I know it's you. He said, I have it back in an hour. Pushed it down the street. By the time he pushed it back, it was too. And that was actually a golf cart, not the ATV. It was too bad to use.
Okay. You invest a few more dollars to drop an air tag on this one?
Well, it has a GPS on it.
Okay.
It's built into
it.
Yeah. They just come with them now. Right?
That is an important part of the equation right there.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get on to the real business at hand. Let's talk tires. What are you working on?
So we're excited. So I gave a shout out to Sharon Mann with Republic Services the last time I was here. I'll do it again. She and I were on the phone. She drove from Sherwood Forest down to downtown, saw about 15 tire shops. And in seeing those 15 tire shops, probably saw about 1,500 tires.
Yeah.
And she's like, Darryl, how do they get away with this? You know, we start talking about DEQ being the person that manages it, like every other agency being understaffed and overwhelmed with jobs. No excuses, still tax dollars at play. But we said, well, if it's a DEQ issue, how can we as a city parish kind of fill that gap, create that gray area? So we put a small working group together, myself, Sharon, Department of Environmental Services, some other folks, and we came up with something like the ABC board for tires.
Okay.
So let's just say you open a mechanic shop. You can get your permit, but you can't sell tires without a tire permit.
Right.
And so some of those things are, how do I properly store those tires? Okay, so it either has to be behind a fence that's minimum 6 feet tall, maximum 8 feet, or it has to be in a storage container. The most tires you can have out to the public and to the public right away is 5 for advertisement or anything. Mm-hmm. So those piles of waste tires that we see out there will no longer be allowed. If you go down Florida Boulevard right now, it's probably this morning, probably 500, 600 out there just at one business.
I live in Sherwood. I take Florida Boulevard
all
the time. I am one of the biggest, if not the biggest, proponent of the Florida Boulevard Corridor project. And Councilman Hurst, I can tell you that every person I've talked to about this project, I've asked them, there's beautification, it's going to be great. What happens? Oh, I know right where that is. Councilman Hurst showing me pictures. I know right where that is. I drive past that daily. And with Florida Boulevard Corridor Project, we have something awesome in Amazon right there as a catalyst to launch everything. Beautification's one thing, but when it comes around to economic development, I can't think of an investor or a business owner that's going to want to say, put my business next to that pile.
Because the area has to be investable.
Yes.
And Florida Boulevard has so many that when you think you're out of the red area and you're moving into the black, 5 minutes down the road, there's another one with tires everywhere. So, but what this will allow is for us to check the manifest from DEQ to make sure that they properly dispose of these tires.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't do so, they get charged $50 per tire, up to 3 fines a year. We can revoke your tire permit, which allows them to not have the ability to operate in the parish. Now, here's the other part, too. I've talked to Dustin Yates. He's the only one I'm waiting on the confirmation from, but he was on board. I've talked to Mayor Wade Evans in Central, Mayor Waits in Baker, Mayor McDavid in Zachary. This is being co-authored by Brandon Knoll, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Anthony Kenny, Rowdy Goday. And so it's truly a parish effort. But we know that those cities, we're not allowed to enforce it there without their buy-in, and those mayors have jumped on board and said, we understand the need for it. We're on board as well. As phase 2 of this, we'll be adopting it in our cities as well.
Now, just to be clear, though, these businesses that have these stacks of tires that are out front, part of the problem is that the tires don't stay there. They end up randomly, like, I don't know how tires end up in so many different places around our parish. But the other part of the problem is, are those tires even sellable?
Well, it doesn't matter because the ordinance says that they only have 500 waste tires. And so...
that's waste, not inventory.
It does, 500 waste tires plus whatever inventory, but inventory is not going to be stored outside. It'll be stored inside, protected from the weather, so in most cases it doesn't crack. They can have a few used tires, but this allows us to look at their manifest and say you took in 200 tires, but you only at $2.25 disposal fee, right? Because it's every time you buy a tire,
right? But
you only dispose of 20, so you pocketed the rest of the money. Ding, here's your fine. Okay, and if we see on camera that you've dropped them in the I call them woods and hoods because that's where they go, right?
Yeah.
Then we can charge you $50 a tire, which if it's 200, that can shut a business down.
Let's talk about the woods and hoods because that's where the real problem comes in. And I mean, I remember back when Matt Watson was running for mayor, and this was a big part of his campaign, wanting to put in a recycling center as well. But retrieving tires from all over the parish, I mean, it's unbelievably labor intensive and time consuming.
Well, I'm going to let the cat out the bag a little bit early, but the recycling center's coming. So
okay.
The great thing about it is that when we're able to recycle cans back in the day, you stop seeing cans all over the street, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to buy the tires for $2 a tire. So that doesn't rid the tire shops of having to do the proper disposal through DEQ for environmental reasons. But the layperson, where you normally see washed and dry sitting out for days, people drive around, pick them up to dispose of them in white goods.
Yeah.
Now you'll be able to take a tire off the side of the road, go turn it in, get $2 a tire. So you'll have constituents going to do it, but you also have the tire companies being held accountable for proper disposal of mass amounts of tires that end up in our woods and hoods.
For $2 a tire, I'll make the rounds.
Yeah, it's a new business, right?
For $2 a tire, I mean, Jennifer Richardson can get rich.
Yeah, and I talked to her. She always tells me, well, there I saw 4 tires. I said, Jennifer, let me show you 400. Because but I love Jennifer, and she's a little warrior. She's a big supporter. Pat LaDuff is.
Yeah.
The Federation of Civic Associations is a huge one. BRAC has been a good partner in this as well. So from the business community to the neighborhood associations, everybody wants to see a change here. So we're so excited to bring it.
How did we get to the point where tires are this big of a problem?
Well, again, it's not a city thing. It's a state thing. It's DEQ matching the manifest, making sure that the tire haulers are disposing of the amount of tires that we're taking in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us having a tire permit will allow us to go in and say, hey, let me take my tire back with me and not properly dispose of it, which is what happens. I'll charge you less if you take your tire,
right,
which is illegal. And so we'll be able to do things like they do with the ABC board and hold people's feet to the fire to do the right thing, which protects our neighborhoods, our community, and our economic growth here.
Yeah, the part that baffles me, is if I have a tire, there's a wheel inside it. And the times when you see a tire on the side of the road, it's just a tire.
That's right.
It's like, The only time I'm dealing with tires is when I have a flat or I'm getting it changed.
Which the rim is off.
Right.
How did the rim get off the tire?
Right. That's the part that leaves me baffled. Don't think I'm not going to follow up on the recycling center. Do we have timelines here, locations?
I don't
Do
know.
we know?
She went through federal court to fight that.
Uh-huh.
My understanding is what I was told about 2 weeks ago. And she won it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a big facility. And I think it's going to change at least that part of Blight as it relates to Baton Rouge and the parish of East Baton Rouge. It's in the Elson area is where it's going to be.
Okay. Because it's just doing this off of memory, there was a lot of problems with location. There was a lot of problems with noise as well.
Well, I think all of that is what they went through, and you can expect it in the Elson area. I mean, that's where all of our dumps are, the private and public around that area as well. So,
getting back to what you've been working on, do you have everything you'll be putting in front of the council? Is there anybody not on board here? Is everybody on board?
No, so I haven't spoken with everyone yet. I want everybody to have the opportunity to read it. I want to send out a couple of emails, but I know I did speak with Aaron Moak. When I spoke with Wade Evans. I respectfully go to my council members that represent other municipalities, and those two are on board. So I'm if I had to count in my head, because it's illegal to have a quorum in a discussion outside of a public body, but just through my individual conversations, I believe it'll pass.
Okay, all right. And if it does pass, give me some timelines on turnaround. Well, how quickly do you think we're going to see effect?
I believe we say 6 months. Part of it is because of the erecting of a fence and pulling some sort of storage unit out there, kind of giving them opportunities to switch the facade up on the building to make sure that it can be aesthetically pleasing as we want it to in the ordinance.
Yeah. And
then also to make sure they get their books together, because we're coming around. As a matter of fact, this pile, Adam Smith, the director of DES, said that's the first one he's going to. Everybody knows what a pile is, man.
Oh, no. It's, so the one you showed me in your picture, there's another one that
across the street from it almost.
Almost across the street, yes.
Yeah.
Has the Christmas lights up.
Yep.
That one was it. They got it's so stupid on the radio. That doesn't make sense on the radio. But the tires, the way they're stacked, they have that crisscross pattern. It's like,
it's like a braided pattern.
It looks
of
like
tires,
a braided
man.
pattern of tires. Is exactly what it looks like. And it is, it's an eyesore to say the least, but it's also an environmental problem overall, and we could be seeing change in the very near future when it comes to that. In the meanwhile, last one before we get you out of here, will this be detrimental to existing business?
It won't, because if you operate right, then you're already following DQ's laws. We had to work with the state to be able to get this done the right way, to make sure that we didn't impede and state law still took precedence over our local law. So it is done in a way that just makes you operate better in our city parish. And as long as you're a good operator, your business stays open. It's like you can have alcohol if you're selling to minors, you're not a good business, right?
Well, yeah, that's right.
So as long as you're not selling to minors, as long as you're disposing of tires properly, like the state tells you to do it, we wouldn't have had to put this ordinance in place anyway. Now, Brian, I'm going to give you Plank Road coming up next. Stay tuned. Good stuff.
Why are you going to tease like that?
Good stuff, Brian.
How long till we can talk about that?
October 1st.
October 1st.
Good. I'm talking great stuff, Brian.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Transforming Plank Road.
I believe that's a catalyst, right?
Absolutely.
A catalyst for Baton Rouge on so many different fronts. He is Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. I greatly appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
As always, have a good one.
You too.